but for every citizen in Kansas. They are the soldiers of the Kansas Army National Guard. They proudly serve part-time in their local communities. Learn more about service with the Kansas Army National Guard at nationalguard.com/KS. Sponsored by the Kansas Army National Guard. Aired by the Kansas Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Your livelihood is important to you. You work hard to succeed in your farming operation, crop, livestock, home, vehicles, and special needs. We have you covered. Discounts are available for new business, remodeling, hail-resistive roofing, multi-policy, and many more. Optional coverage endorsements as well for machinery ingestion and equipment breakdown. Umbrella coverage for additional coverage on your home, farm, and auto. See the girls at the insurance agency at 1020 Main in Goodland or call 785-899-5011.
He was just one of those friends that everybody liked to have, that anytime you needed something, you call Matt.
Very big-hearted.
An impaired driver killed the Grove's son in 2011.
There's not a day that goes by I don't think about him.
It hurts. He won't be able to be a father, a husband, or a grandfather.
Always drive sober.
Parents aren't supposed to bury their children.
A message from the Kansas Department of Transportation and all the victims of impaired driving crashes.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer whenever I want?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. 94% of Sleep Number smart sleepers report better sleep. J.D. Power ranks Sleep Number #1 in customer satisfaction with mattresses purchased in-store. And now, during our biggest sale of the year, save 50% on the Sleep Number limited edition smart bed. Limited time. For J.D. Power 2023 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com.
If you're looking for a more convenient way to access your funds and view your account, then sign up today for Internet Banking. Internet Banking allows you to view your accounts from your computer or even your phone. You can easily transfer between your accounts, view which checks have cleared, send payments through our Bill Pay feature, and even deposit your checks by taking a picture of them. Internet Banking will make your banking experience easy. If you'd like to sign up for Internet Banking, come see me, Victoria Ratcliffe, today at 202 East 11th Street in Goodland, FNB Bank, member FDIC.
Summertime is here, and so are your local Hoover Lumber Ace hardware stores with anything and almost everything you need for these warm days. Give your place a new look with Benjamin Moore paints. Keep your lawn looking its best with mowers, blowers, and trimmers from Craftsman, Toro, and Ego. And they still have that amazing selection of outdoor grills from Traeger and Weber, plus the popular flat-top Blackstone griddles. Find it all and much more at Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware with locations in Colby and Goodland. Open every day but Sunday.
You ready? Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4!
It's the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
The amount of money getting thrown around to quarterbacks who haven't done diddly squat is amazing to me.
The region's only local sports talk.
Listen to this guy. He knows what he's talking about.
Broadcasting on Goodland's Rocket 102.5, simulcasting on Goodland's 730 Gold KLOE.
Guys everywhere.
Discussing it all from the preps.
It's been a long, long time. But the Goodland Cowboys are going to play for a state title.
To the pros.
How about a walk-off grand slam? Touch of all time, Ryan McMahon.
The Blitz is presented by Pearl Chevrolet GMC, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware, and F&B Bank, as well as the Insurance Agency, Farmer State Bank in Oakley, the Cowboy Corner Express, and Equity Bank of Hoxie, Quinter, and Grinnell.
Let's go to work. The pitch. Breaking ball hit high in the air, deep to left field. Steer turns around, watches it fly. It's Dairon Blanco's first career grand slam. He breaks the ball game open. A 2-run homer in the second, and now a grand slam in the third. And the Royals lead 9-0 in Cincinnati.
Carson Wentz on 3rd down and 7. Lofts a pass open in the end zone near side. Touchdown! Kansas City. Welcome to the Chiefs Kingdom. Xavier Worthy tasting the sweet nectar of the end zone. Get used to it, brother.
Nix rolls to his right, throws a ball that is caught. Touchdown, Denver. And that is Tim Patrick with a mile-high salute to the southwest corner of the end zone.
And happy Monday morning, everybody. Welcome inside the Morning Blitz on this August the 19th. So glad you could join us no matter which way you are doing so, whether, of course, through the radio on Goodland's Rocket 102.5, of course, Goodland 730 Gold, KLOE, And, of course, we are online, NWKSradio.net, and video streaming through our Hurl Chevrolet GMC video stream on X, Facebook, as well as YouTube. Thank you so much for joining me here this morning. Flying solo now going forth for the foreseeable future, at least for the time being. More on that as we get closer and closer to an announcement of who will be replacing Christian Peck-Dimmitt, not only here on the Blitz, but as the next voice of the Colby Eagles. But more on that coming up at a later date. But so glad you're able to join us here on the Morning Blitz on this Monday morning. Hope everyone had a great weekend. I had a very interesting and entertaining weekend, to say the very least. I went out to Colorado Springs on Saturday for the Pikes Peak Air Show over at the Colorado Springs Airport. Got to see the Blue Angels fly. Also got to go see many other World War II aircraft. Got to see a demonstration by the F-22 Raptor, all these different airplanes and stuff. And it was a hot day. It was a long day. I'm not kidding you. We parked our car and we stood in line for an hour just to get into the show, because that's how many people were there. It was an unbelievable amount of people that showed up to the Pikes Peak Air Show. And my goodness, it was certainly all worth shows and see the old time airplanes and the new ones. It was very, very impressive and highly entertaining. I had a great time. I probably had more fun than my own kids, who of course we went for them and my son's birthday, who's coming up tomorrow. And we went for him because he likes airplanes too. But I think I had probably more fun than they all did. So it was a great weekend out of Colorado Springs and in that area. And now back to get things going here on a Monday, August the 19th. And we made it, folks. August the 19th, we are here. It is the first official day of fall sports practices that Acacia allows. So we are now currently in season. I know some teams will have had morning practices. Some will have in the afternoon. Some will have it whenever they feel like it, especially for those schools that have not started school yet. So, yes, but we are officially in it. Welcome to the sports season in the academic year of 24-25. First day of it right here, 1.0. So, anyway, good luck to all the area athletes out there that are getting off, that are listening to the show, that are getting started on their, maybe it's their senior season, maybe it's their junior, maybe they're a freshman. They don't know what to expect. I was there. I know exactly what you're feeling. You don't know what to expect as a freshman coming out of junior high. But anyway, we're at that point and look forward to seeing what the 2024-25 athletic and academic season holds as we get rolling here on August the 19th. Today's show will be joined by Jesse Newell of the Kansas City Star. He'll be joining us to talk about the Chiefs' 0-2 start to the preseason after they lose to Detroit on Saturday, 24-23 was the final there. So look forward to visiting with Jesse Newell about that. We've got plenty of stuff to talk about in the walk-off as well as the leftovers. But as most of you know, it is a Monday. And what does that mean? Well, weekend winners and losers.
There are two kinds of people in this world.
There's winners and there's losers.
Which ones were which this past weekend?
I want winners.
Loser! You're a loser!
It's the weekend's winners and losers on the Morning Blitz.
Want to be a winner, be a winner.
As always, you're welcome to text in your weekend winners and losers here on the Morning Blitz. Hit us up on the FNB Bank text line, the number 785-899-2222. Thank you to listener Jared chiming in. And yes, Jared goes, I would be a volunteer civilian contractor for the Morning Blitz. I want to be part of the show, so it could be great. Come on, it's a Husker and a Buffalo. True. That would be pretty good, Jared. That's for sure. But anyway, as we continue on here on the Morning Blitz, our weekend winners will get things rolling here this morning. And I've got plenty of winners, honestly. I thought it was a pretty good weekend for a lot of people. In fact, I've got so many winners, I kind of extended a few of them into the back end of the show with the leftovers. But I want to start first and foremost locally. You know, as I mentioned, today is the first day of fall sports practices, really getting to the full swing. Of course, teams have been working off and on throughout the summer, going to weightlifting, going to camps, having their own team camps, stuff of that sort. But now we can officially begin practice every single day. And we're starting to see previews and stuff come out covering the high school sports, particularly here in Kansas. I know up online now is the Kansas Pregame Football Magazine. Our good friend of the show, John Betts, has got his magazine up online. They'll be out in hard copies here in the next week or so. But we also see from KeishaCovered.com and the team there led by, Rick Peterson and staff, they do a great job of kind of giving a preview of what to expect each and every season, particularly across all sports, not just football, not just, volleyball, but, golf as well. And got to give a shout out to the Keisha Covered crew, as they really gave Western Kansas, particularly Northwest Kansas golfers, a lot of love in their 10 Class 3-2-1A girls golfers to watch here in the upcoming 2024 season. 3 ladies made the cut. One from Colby, one from Goodland, and one from Rollins County. Logan Nolan of Colby was one of those girls that was announced as one of these girls to watch. Colby's had a great run on the links the past handful of years with 3 team state runner-up trophies and 3 regional and GWAC team titles for the Lady Eagles as well. And Logan Nolan was a top 10 finisher at state last year after rounds of 89 and 87, which put her in 8th place. And so she's continued to get better and better. I know she works on her game a lot over the summer. And so this is the year for Logan Nolan to try and now carry that torch that, Anna Starbuck has graduated. And so you got to think that Logan Nolan, as well as Natalie Wadersky that are back, will help lead the way for the Colby Lady Eagles here in the 24 season. Goodland's Allie Cure was also named in this list of top 10 golfers to watch in 2024. Of course, Allie finished just outside the top 10 after rounds of 90 and 91 at state last year as a sophomore. She had honorable mention All-State honors in 3-2-1A. But she's had a really, really good season. She's a 2-time state qualifier, made as a freshman, of course, made as a sophomore, and she'll look to try and make it a 3-time state qualifier this year. And I know that they've worked on their golf games over the summer as well, both Allie and her younger sister, Natalie, here this season. So Allie Cure also getting a mention in this 10 Class 3-2-1A girls golfers to watch in 2024. And another young lady that gets a shout-out as well is Rollins County's Amelia Bowles, who helped lead Rollins County's girls golf team in their inaugural season with a very impressive junior campaign. For those who didn't know, she was on the boys team for her first 2 seasons there at Rollins County, but now she is leading the way as the girls teams has got it going there in Rollins County. She had a round of 76 last year and a round of 81, finishing in 6th place at the 3-2-1A tournament. She won multiple other tournaments as well throughout the region. And she's getting recruited pretty heavily by colleges to come play golf. And so Amelia Bowles, another one of those young ladies, this, of course, Amelia from Rollins County High School, that are the 10 of the 3-2-1A girls golfers to watch in 2024. So once again, just kind of in our own little neck of the woods here in Northwest Kansas, you have 3 of the 10 girls mentioned. Amelia Bowles of Rollins County, Allie Cure of Goodland, Logan Nolan of Colby. That's pretty cool. I think that's pretty darn cool all the way around, if you ask me. So congratulations to, once again, Logan Nolan, Allie Cure, and Amelia Bowles being named as Keisha Covered, 3 of Keisha Covered's golfers to watch coming up in the 2024 season. They are a winner of the weekend. Moving on, and more winners of the weekend. I think for the second consecutive week, we're going to have the same winner because of the play of Bo Nix. And so Bo Nix, a winner of the weekend again, as he leads the Denver Broncos in a domination of the Green Bay Packers 27-2. Now, I do get that. Once again, the Packers sat 31 starters. They were playing against the backups. I get that. I understand that. But Bo Nix still looked good in this dominating win. He got the start for the first time in his professional career, even though it was a preseason game. Got the start, went 8 of 9 for 80 yards and a touchdown to Tim Patrick on a little flip route, 2-yard flip route, it seemed like, out in the flat to help give him the touchdown. He almost had another touchdown, but he lost track of where he was on the field and was across the line of scrimmage when he threw a ball to Javonte Williams wide open in the end zone. So he almost had 2 touchdowns, but he only finished with 1. But he didn't have any picks. And the stat really that I think that's impressive is you look at Bo Nix through his first 2 preseason games. He is 20 of 35 with 2 touchdowns now in the preseason and 0. That's a goose egg in picks. That's a humongous deal. if you ask me, for Bo Nix. They are not turning the football over. He was great in college. They were talking about this yesterday on SportsCenter's Watch a little bit late, and they made some great points. When he was at Auburn, he showed how well he could run the ball. He was a really good runner at Auburn. When he went to Oregon, he developed his passing game even more. He became a more efficient passer. He really did. He became more of an efficient passer and was leading the NCAA in completion percentage. And I think broke the record, for completion percentage in college football last year, if I'm not mistaken. So he was very, very good in this department. And when you're running a West Coast style of offense like Sean Payton kind of wants to run, that's what it's about. It's about not the long passes. It's about the short, quick passing game and having high completion rates with minimal turnovers. And through 2 preseason, quote unquote preseason games, he has looked very, very good. 77 completion percentage here in the preseason is number 2 in the NFL through 2 preseason games. That's where Bo Nix is right now. His 77% completion percentage is number 2 in the NFL. But once again, I want to remind folks, it's the preseason. And of course, last night they were playing the Green Bay Packers, backing them up is what I should say on that. So once again, I'm not trying to get the cart in front of the horse here. I truly am not. I know listener Michael is a humongous Broncos fan. I know he's super excited about this. I get that, but I'm not going to get the cart in front of the horse. But I do think Bo Nix is still a winner because you can still go out there and not look good against the backups. I mean, for the second consecutive game, Jared Stidham had an interception, and I don't know it was entirely his fault. Again, it was bad up in the air, but I think Jared Stidham's got to feel bad. Like that's going to be on my record for trying to win this job. And if Bo's not turning the ball over, and I am, even if it's not really my fault, because, passes are getting batted down or batted up in the air or deflected, or guys are letting it go through their hands into the defender's hands, it's still going to be on Jared Stidham. And you kind of get the sense watching his body language a little bit last night that, yeah, he wasn't feeling very good about what's going on in front of him as the rookie has kind of started to take him a little bit more. And if you're Denver, that's, you're paying rookies a lot of money. He's a first-round pick, and if he shows that he's going to be able to hang in there, and of course, you're going to take his lumps, of course, but you think he's still going to find a way to prevail, you got to probably go with that guy. So I give a lot of credit to Bo Nix. He is no doubt a winner of the weekend. Jared listening in on their FB Bank text line, 785-899-2222. He was at they were saying on the Bronco big screen, they were showing Russell Wilson struggle with the game that he had in Pittsburgh. And so they were showing some of that, and fans were cheering and stuff. And yeah, it's not been, overall, it's just not been a very good, what I want to say. It's not been a very good history, of course, obviously, for the Broncos and quarterbacks. It's not been good. And that's why I do not want to get the cart in front of the horse here for Denver. I just don't want to do that. But once again, I thought Bo Nix looked good for his second consecutive game. He'll get another chance here in preseason week number 3 against the Cardinals coming up on Sunday, which you can hear right here on Rocket 102.5. And so I think we're going to see Bo Nix play again. I think if he plays solid, I think he's probably going to win the job. And so it's a winner of the weekend. He, like I said, if he can keep that completion percentage where it kind of was, if it can be, 65 to 70 in that range, you're going to be ecstatic if you're Sean Payton and the Broncos, I think. Moving on to my third winner of the weekend, I'm going to go with Dairon Blanco and the Kansas City Royals as my third winner of the weekend. They get a sweep of the Reds this past weekend, and they really did it in complete dominant fashion. If you want to really dive into it, they completely and utterly dominated Cincinnati. Did the Royals this past weekend in this series? They won 7-1 on Friday, 13-1 on Saturday, and then a 8-1 victory on Sunday. They blew the doors off the Reds this weekend. 28-3 is what they outscored, and Dairon Blanco is one of the biggest reasons, if not the biggest, why the Royals, why he's the winner of the weekend and why they had such a dominant performance. Dairon Blanco this past weekend was unbelievable. 3 home runs and 8 RBI over the course of Saturday and Sunday, including a grand slam on Saturday. He had 7 RBIs on Saturday, a 2-run homer, a grand slam, and then a RBI in the late innings as well to get him up to 7. That is quite a weekend for the outfielder Dairon Blanco, who only had 64 at-bats coming into this weekend. But he was absolutely fantastic, was Dairon Blanco, as the Royals looked just fantastic this weekend. And as much as you want to talk about Blanco and the offense putting up runs, the pitching staff allowed 3 flipping runs all weekend. And Brady Singer, who's had kind of some bad luck, to be completely honest with you. Singer worked 6 innings, had 5 hits, no runs, 6 Ks, 1 walk in a win yesterday to get to 9-8. But, he had another rain delay. I think he's had 3 games this year where there have been a rain delay in his pitching starts. He's had tough luck on that. And to find a way to battle through another rain delay of over a half hour yesterday in Cincinnati and to get it done, that's impressive. So the Royals, no doubt, a massive winner of the weekend. They are now 69-55 after sweeping the Reds. And when you look at the wild card standings, actually, you look at the regular standings, the Royals are still in third place in the AL Central, 3 games back of the leading Guardians and just a game back of the Twins. But then you go to the wild card, and Kansas City still holding on to that final wild card spot as they are 3.5 games ahead of Boston and just 1 game back of Minnesota in the American League wild card standings. So that's pretty darn good if you ask me. So, yeah, great weekend for it. Dairon Blanco, once again, had 3 home runs and 9 RBIs in 2 days there with the Royals. And you got to think that'll keep him up in the bigs for a while, providing some pop in that lineup, in particular in the bottom of the lineup the last couple of games, which will be very helpful to this Royals offense, which still lacks a little bit in that department. But overall, once again, just a great weekend for the Kansas City Royals, to say the very least. And Dairon Blanco kind of overshadowed other performers. Bobby Witt was good again. Vinny Pasquantino had a 3 RBI game on Sunday in the 8-1 win. So things are just looking good for the Royals right now as we sit here on August the 19th. The Royals, by the way, do not have a day off. They open up a series tonight against the Angels at 7:10 Central Time back at the K. Of course, you can hear all that action on AM 790 KXXX. All right, let's move into the losers of the weekend. And I only have one loser, and it's still in baseball here on Weekend Winners and Losers. And my loser of the weekend is going to go to NL West wildcard teams. I talked about it last week or 2 weeks ago, how they were winners of the weekend when you combine the record of the Diamondbacks and the Padres as where they sat, after just an amazing stretch where I think they had lost maybe a combined 10 games and had won close to 40. They were like a combined close 40-10, which is completely ridiculous. But NL West wildcard teams are a loser this weekend because of what happened on the diamond for both of them. The Padres, first and foremost, lose to the Rockies in a 3-game series. Colorado able to take Game 1 and Game 2 over this past weekend against the Padres. Game 1 and Game 3, to take those against the Padres. And that was, the Rockies have played well against San Diego. More on that in just a little bit. But 7-3, the Rockies win on Friday night. The Padres win 8-3 on Saturday. And then Sunday, a 3-2 victory for Colorado, aided by an error out in right field, but some good hitting by Jacob Stallings and some good base running by the Rockies helped them prevail 3-2. And Victor Vodnik able to hammer down his 9th save there for the Rockies, who get the 3-2 victory. And the stat of the day on that is that the Rockies take 2 out of 3 from the Padres, and they finish the season series. So the combined, 13 games that they played, they went 8-5 against San Diego. I think it's one of it's one of only 2 teams really the Padres have struggled with. The Padres have struggled against the Rockies and the Marlins. Of all teams, the Padres struggled against them, but the Rockies and the Marlins are who they struggled against the most. But Colorado takes the season series from San Diego 8-5. And that also, by the way, their win on Friday snapped a streak of 8 series victories for San Diego. So with that win on Sunday. So the Rockies, you could say, are a winner for sure with how they handled their business against the Padres. But that's something they've done all season. Really, if you want to look at the NL West, they're the losers of the weekend, especially those wildcard teams. And the Diamondbacks had a horrible weekend as well, dealing with injuries to Ketel Marte and also, of course, getting swept on the road by the Tampa Bay Rays. It was not a good weekend for 2 of the hottest teams in baseball. they kind of got doused with some cold water here this past weekend, and so that's why they are losers of the weekend. Now, they're still, when you look at the NL West wild card rate standings, they're still in the lead, and they're still making the postseason if the season ended today. But there's lots of ground that was made up by other people as well. Continuing on the FNB Bank text line, we got listener Jared chiming in a lot. He was making a comment about the Mahomes behind the back pass to Travis Kelce. We will visit with our good friend Jesse Newell coming up here in just a matter of minutes, actually, about that pass and some other things going on as well. And of course, the Chiefs are off to an 0-2 start after the loss to the Lions this weekend, 24-23. So, yes, we will get to all that coming up with Jesse Newell. But there you go. Weekend winners and losers here on a Monday morning. Once again, weekend winners include area girls golfers, particularly Allie Cure, Logan Nolan, and Amelia Bowles, all getting mentioned by Keisha Covered as 3 of the top 10 golfers to watch in 321A across the state. Bo Nix, of course, a winner of the weekend after the great performance in the preseason, working his way towards getting named that top starter for the Broncos. And, of course, Dairon Blanco and the Royals sweeping the Reds in dominant fashion, outscoring them 28-3. The winners of the weekend, of course, losers of the weekend, NL West wildcard teams of the Padres and the Diamondbacks go just 1 of 6, or win just one game out of a combined 6 on the weekend, and kind of ding their chances of possibly make the postseason, even though they are still in a good spot at this point in time. All right, 7:32 Mountain, 8:32 Central Time. As always, the FB Bank text line is open. You can text during the break. We'll get to those after this timeout. We come back. We'll be joined, of course, on the Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware Hotline by our good friend Jesse Newell of the Kansas City Star. Make sure you join us. Stick around. This is the Morning Blitz.
Good morning. This is Kate Thompson with the Anderson Trade Group. Today is Monday, August 19th. And on the overnight last night, September corn higher 1 1/4 at 371 3/4. December up 3/4 at 393 1/4. March up 3/4 at 411 3/4. And May corn up a half cent at 422 1/4. September beans up 2 cents on the overnight at 940 3/4. November up 3 1/4 at 960 1/4. January up 3 1/4 at 979 1/4. And March beans up 3 cents at 995. Chicago wheat September contract down 6 cents on the overnights at 524. December down 5 at 547 1/2. March down 4 at 567 1/2. And May soft wheat down 3 cents at 580 1/4. Kansas City wheat September contract down 3 3/4 on the overnights at 536. December down 3 1/2 at 551 1/4. March down 3 3/4 at 563 3/4. And May down 3 3/4 at 571 3/4. On the stock market this morning, the Dow up $21 at 40,815. The S&P up 4 at 5,583. The Nasdaq up 15 at 19,621. Gold over 850 an ounce at 2,529. Silver up 17 cents at 29.02, and crude oil down 20 cents a barrel at $76.45. If you have any questions about marketing grain or would like to talk about risk management options, give our Colorado office a call, John Hankey or John Stiles at 970-744-4484.
When it comes to growing soybeans, you need an advantage. And with Zetavo soybean seed, you get a big one. 3.4 bushels per acre big. It's a yield advantage made possible by BASF genetics, proprietary germplasm, and industry-leading seed quality. Talk to your retailer today about staying ahead of the game with Zetavo soybean seed from BASF. Zetavo soybean seed.
When challenging conditions arise, we don't back down. We up our game. Outpacing the competition with innovations fueled by Bayer's R&D, keeping you equipped with an expanded portfolio, elite genetics, and additional local test plots. Channel leads the field, so you can rise above. See how you can save at channel.com/finance24. Read and follow pesticide label directions, grain marketing, and other stewardship practices.
Kansas Corn reminds you that E15 fuel is the right choice for every kind of driver. For the car enthusiast, E15 has higher octane. For the thrifty driver, E15 is priced lower than regular unleaded. For the nature lover, E15 provides cleaner air. For the shopper who buys local, E15 has more ethanol from our Kansas corn farms. Choose E15 for a higher octane, lower price, and cleaner American fuel. This message from the Kansas Corn Commission. Learn more at kscorn.com.
Labor Day weekend is a time for barbecues,
one last splash in the pool, and great time with friends. But designated driver before you party. It can be the difference between good memories and horrific ones. A message from the Kansas Department of Transportation.
Are you in search of a new pickup? Well, why not trust the team at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas, as they currently have great deals on all kinds of trucks. Get yourself into a 2024 GMC Sierra 1500 pickup with 5.9% APR plus $3,250 purchase allowance when you trade in an eligible vehicle. Or get a 2024 GMC Sierra 2500 pickup with 5.9% for 84 months. As always, go to hurlchev.com to schedule any service or check out what's on the lot, or just stop on by in South Goodland.
Catch up on all the latest headlines, scores, and interviews from the region. This is the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer, your daily dose of sports.
Once again, welcome back to the Morning Blitz here on this Monday. Glad you could join us. No matter which way you are listening or watching, glad you could join us here on this. It's going to be not as warm a Monday as I think we're going to experience later in the week. 84 expected to be the high today, 88 tomorrow, and some little bit even warmer temperatures coming up on the midweek and into the weekend. Our good friend Jesse Newell loves those warm temperatures. He's a big fan of that stuff.
I am. Warm is greater than cold.
Morning, Jesse. I tell you what, it's been an interesting start to the preseason for the Chiefs. I mean, not that 0-2 matters a whole heck of a lot for Kansas City at this point in time, but 0-2 to start the preseason. Is there anything, despite the 0-2 record, that is maybe even a bit concerning as we sit here on this Monday, August the 19th?
Not the record for sure. They easily could have won that game against Detroit. It's just you got your four stringers in and weird stuff happens at the end. So, yeah, I wouldn't be concerned with that at all. I mean, I would say most concerning would just be injuries. And Andy Reid runs a tough camp, and there's a lot of guys that we all think are going to be back for the regular season opener, but, they need to get out there and get themselves ready. And I guess we'll see how well they mesh with teammates since they haven't been out there. A guy like, safety Justin Reed has not practiced fully this entire, now training camp's over, but this entire month. Nick Bolton has been out. Chris Jones, it seems really minor with him, but, he hasn't been in there. Seems like that might be kind of like a quasi, rest up for the regular season. But you add that to Hollywood Brown, who, most likely is not going to be there for the preseason or for the regular season opener because of his shoulder injury. And you just sort of have all of these guys kind of not quite ready for the regular season. Or at least maybe a step behind what that you would want them to be based off some injury stuff. So I would say that's probably the most concerning with the Chiefs. But otherwise, this is sort of what you want if you're an NFL team or a fan of an NFL team, which is there are not many position battles. There's not much that they need to figure out this offseason. They've got a really good team, and they're going to roll into the regular season, and all the places that you need to have settled have been already settled, basically. So that's a good thing for the Chiefs heading into the season. But like I said, keep an eye on those injuries just to see everybody comes back full strength and exactly how they want to be for the season opener against the Ravens.
Kansas City Stars Jesse Newell joining us here on the Hoover Lumber Ace Hotline on the Morning Blitz. Yeah, I mean, from the team's perspective, that's great. You don't have to worry about a whole lot, in position battles. It's kind of boring, I'm guessing, from your perspective, not getting to see kind of those storylines develop on who could come in and fill those spots. But at the same time, what have you liked about that starting unit that's, of course, working again together, and what, in your opinion, needs a little bit of work?
Yeah, I mean, offensively, I think that Xavier Worthy's come in. He's made an impact, and you saw it in the preseason game from Saturday where, our Sam McDowell, columnist of the Star, wrote about this, but one play he goes downfield and catches a deep pass for 38, 39 yards down the sideline. And the next play, he runs down the field, and there's two lions that follow him because they're like, well, this guy caught one 40-yard pass. He's not going to catch another one. And because he did that, he draws two defenders, and Justin Watson's wide open underneath. And so this is the sort of thing that the Chiefs just didn't have as much last year. It's why the offense struggled for a big portion of the season. I even saw today that ESPN's Bill Barnwell was writing about these things and writing about certain teams in the NFL, 5 teams in the NFL, who could improve based off of what they did last year. And the Chiefs are on that list. And part of the reason the Chiefs are on that list is because Patrick Mahomes has been really good with deep balls every single year of his career until last season. And they just didn't have that sort of deep threat who teams really feared that could catch the ball down the field. Mecole Hardman and Marquez Valdes-Scantling both could run down the field, but they had trouble tracking it, had trouble catching it. And so Xavier Worthy's showing that he can go downfield, track the ball, and catch the ball. I think that'll add a different dimension to the Chiefs' offense. And again, open things up underneath for guys like Travis Kelce or Rashee Rice, who desperately were needing somebody last year to take the top off the defense. I think the Chiefs have that this year. And then again, once they get Hollywood Brown back, they'll have two potential options to do that. So the Stars offensively, I think that's a really good sign. Defensively, I think the biggest thing you look at is just they have continuity. They did not go out. If you look at their roster, they did not go out and sign one free agent on the defensive side from outside the organization. That seems to me like a philosophy. You know what I mean? Like Steve Spagnuolo, historically, the defensive coordinator, has had a tough playbook. The Chiefs said, well, if that's going to happen, we're just going to bring back every single person who played here last year and believe that they're going to get better in the system. Not only that, the Chiefs had the second youngest age-adjusted roster on defense last year, so you anticipate guys like Trent McDuffie are going to be better. You know, Leo Chanel is going to be better. Felix Anudike-Uzomah is going to be better. So I think it's kind of interesting how the Chiefs have sort of shaped this offseason, where offensively they knew they needed pieces, especially a receiver. They went out and got them. And on defense, they said, we believe in ourselves here and the value of continuity and having guys in the same position with the same coaches, knowing the defense better another year. So we'll see if it works out for them. But I do like where the Chiefs stand right now. Just, again, if you take out the injuries and believe that those guys are coming back, I think you have a team that is kind of could be ascending at the right time here. And obviously, as Bill Barnwell said from ESPN, could be better than last year, even after winning a Super Bowl.
Jesse, is there a position battle or maybe a depth battle that's going on that you're really intrigued about, behind the starters?
Yeah, I would say that receiver is still up in the air. I think Justin Ross, I wrote about him last week. He's been kind of a fan favorite for a long time now, but he's really emerged the last couple of weeks. He basically does one thing well, but he's done it so well that it's caught the Chiefs' attention. He goes down the sideline and he makes contested catches. And that hasn't been the thing that Patrick Mahomes has always loved to throw. But, the Chiefs are giving Justin Ross lots of opportunities. I would say he's probably right now one of the favorites to win a receiver spot on the back end of the roster. The Chiefs are going to need an extra one with Hollywood Brown out with his shoulder injury. McCole Hardman, I don't know, man. I don't know how he fits. I don't know, potentially exactly what he brings that a guy like Xavier Worthy doesn't bring a little bit better. But he's been with the team for so long, so I don't know. I mean, the Chiefs could try to, get him back on the practice squad if he's a veteran, so they should be able to do it if they wanted to work that. But I don't know if he'll make the roster or not, but he's kind of on the back end there. And then Kadarius Toney, I mean, I'm just honest with you, Ross, I think he's a cut right now. The Chiefs have wanted him to be out there. He's battled injuries. He hasn't really, won them over with what he's done so far, and he's done basically nothing in preseason. He's run with the 3s and the 4s. So still the back end of that receiver room is interesting. And then running back has been sort of fascinating, even though we didn't think it would be. But Carson Steele, this rookie running back out of UCLA, has really stepped up. And he was the second guy out there on Saturday and was taking reps with Patrick Mahomes and stayed in the whole drive. So it seems like I would be really surprised if he doesn't make the roster. And then beyond that, Deneric Prince and then Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Clyde Edwards-Helaire has just battled. He was real open about it a couple weeks ago, but he battles PTSD. Based off of what he did a few years ago back at LSU. And he's been really in and out of training camp practices, only there for about half of them. So we'll see what the Chiefs do with that. But both of those battles are something sort of interesting to watch at the end of the roster. But I know people are always interested in the receivers. And I think right now, Justin Ross, McCole Hardman, Kadarius Toney, Nico Remigio, how that all kind of shakes out will be something still to watch here in this final preseason game. Still probably a job to be won there coming up on Thursday.
Yeah, speaking of the receivers, what's the latest on Hollywood Brown and his health?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it's going to be another, 3 to 5 weeks if everything goes well. Andy Reid said it's the exact same injury that Tyreek Hill suffered in 2019. Strangely enough, it was against Jacksonville. So for whatever reason, Jacksonville seems to take down Chiefs receivers in a very similar way. But Tyreek, missed about 3 or 4 games with that particular injury. Then, hurried back and was able to be fine. So I'm sure the Chiefs are not going to rush Hollywood Brown back, especially with his injury history as it is, and with the recovery that sort of thing takes. But I anticipate week 2 or week 3 is kind of what they would target with that. I would not anticipate him coming back for the opener. Stranger things have happened, so I guess you never completely rule it out. But the fact that Chiefs are playing on that early Thursday. He could get a lot more rest and a lot more recovery with that if the Chiefs decide to wait and give him that extra 10 days to try to recover. So we'll see where week 2, potentially if he's back, maybe week 3, if things go to plan, but I would not anticipate him out there week 1. And the Chiefs can have him back for, mid to late September. That should be fine. I mean, the Chiefs lost to the Lions in the season opener last year and went on to win the Super Bowl. Certainly it would not be the end of the world if they lost to the Ravens at home in the season opener. The Chiefs have shown over time they can get things right throughout the course of the rest of the season.
Jesse Newell, the Kansas City Star, joining us here on the Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware hotline. The offensive line has been pretty solid around Mahomes here for the most part. How has that line held up for the preseason, in your opinion?
Well, yeah, it's another one with injuries, which has sort of been moved around a little bit, where Joe Thuney is coming off, an injury he suffered at the end of last season that's kept him out. But so he's been in practice, but has not played in a game yet. And why that's more important is that on the left side, Kingsley Suamataia has really locked down that spot as a rookie. And the fact is he just hasn't been able to play next to Joe Thuney very much. And that's the sort of cohesiveness, the thing you want to get those guys playing together, learning how to play off of each other. But as far as Kingsley goes, he's been really a bright spot of training camp. He took that competition with Wanya Morris, and first day in pads, he was with the number ones and really has not relinquished that spot from there. So he's super athletic. You saw in some run plays, he's getting out there on the perimeter. I talked to him in the locker room, and I think that's what he's most happy about. He wants to show his athleticism. He wants to get out there, and get some guys, downhill and take them off their feet, and was able to do that on one Xavier Worthy end around in Saturday's game. But the Chiefs seem impressed with him. Andy Heck, the offensive line coach, has only had glowing things to say about him. Andy Reid, both of those guys, BYU alums, him and Kingsley, has seemed really happy with him. So it's crazy. Kingsley was the 11th offensive tackle taken in the 2024 draft. And if this early part of training camp up till now is any indication, I can't imagine he's not going to be better than half of those guys that were taken ahead of him. So again, still a lot to see, and he's going to go against starters coming up with the lights on. So surely there'll be rookie struggles along the way, but I don't think the Chiefs could have asked for anything better from Kingsley so far. And so that, along with the guys, the staples we know about on the offensive line, when it comes to Juwan Taylor, right tackle, Trey Smith, right guard, Creed Humphreys, the center, who's actually changed up his snapping. He's snapping in a different way this year, so potentially the snaps will be a little bit better. The Chiefs could have one of the best offensive lines in the NFL again. Again, the biggest thing will be seeing what happens at left tackle and how well Kingsley can block. But again, so far so good with him, and the Chiefs have been impressed with what he's done so far.
You talked about Worthy and Kingsley, of course. Are there any other rookies you think will make big impacts here this year?
I would say those two are probably on a tier of their own. I think that they've been happy with Jaden Hicks, a safety that's been in there. And again, he's gotten lots of reps because Justin Reed's been out. So I could see him playing more like exactly what Shamari Connor did for the Chiefs last year, which, Shamari Connor was great in the Super Bowl and did a lot of things for them, but sort of a always on special teams, flies down, big guy, fast, can hit people. And then if there's an injury, he can kind of rotate in and have an impact that way. I'm a little less probably high on Jared Wiley, as many other people out there are, the tight end out of TCU. I think he's a really good red zone weapon. He's a big dude at 6'6", but I don't think he has the quick burst speed to potentially have the sort of maybe impact that a lot of fans would hope from him. I mean, I know there's been the comparisons, and Travis Kelce's getting older and he needs an heir apparent, all those sorts of things. I just don't see that from Jared, at least not yet. He seems to be more like a very situational player. The Chiefs love playing tight ends. They love putting 2-3 tight ends out there. So Jared Wiley is going to get playing time. There's no doubt about that. But I mean, will he produce more than Noah Gray does? If you're going with touchdowns, I would probably say so. Again, he's a huge weapon in the red zone, and Patrick Mahomes seems to trust him there. I just don't know between the 20s if that's going to be his forte to start off with. But we'll see. The rest of these guys, Hunter Norzad seems like a good rotational backup piece on the offensive line. He had a really good game on Saturday, so that's good that things are coming along for him. And outside of that, I'm not sure that any of these other rookies are really stepping up and going to be huge contributors like the Chiefs have had in years past. But definitely Worthy and definitely Kingsley. And if you hit on those first two picks, then you probably would be pretty happy with your draft. And it sure seems at this point like the Chiefs feel very good about where those two guys are positioned.
Final one for me, Jesse, with the final preseason game coming up here against the Bears on Thursday night. What do you expect to see, and what would you hope to see in this final preseason game?
Yeah, this is one where, I mean, Andy Reid's probably going to be pretty coy and say, I'm not sure he's going to play the starters. he won't play him. You know what I mean? Like, that's not going to happen. This is always kind of the worst of the preseason games. But this is the one where, guys have an opportunity to step up that are, like we talked about, the second and third and fourth stringers to show they should be on an NFL roster. And so a couple guys to watch, they graded out great on the Pro Football Focus grades, and they should get a lot of playing time here to try to earn their way on the Chiefs roster. A couple linebackers. Curtis Jacobs is a guy out of Penn State. He was actually ranked the highest player on the Chiefs defense last game, but the Chiefs need a backup linebacker to be able to, have on the roster and be relied upon. And, they don't have Willie Gay this year. Last year, Drew Tranquil was kind of the backup, and he stepped in and played a bunch of snaps. Now he's the starter. So Curtis Jacobs is one guy to watch. Again, had a really good performance last game. So he could kind of back up the middle linebacker spot. And then Swayze Bozeman, great name, actually spelled like Patrick Swayze. I'm sure potentially his parents, since they're somewhere around my age, probably named him after Patrick Swayze. But Dave Tobe has singled him out as a great special teams player. And then he plays, some weak side linebacker for the Chiefs, but he actually had the second highest grade on Pro Football Focus, was flying around making some plays on defense in the other game. So yeah, number 55, be sure to watch him. Not only a great name, but has produced there. And so the Chiefs need some of those special teams / backup potential players coming up here. And so those are the kind of guys you'll want to be paying attention to in this game, because you might be able to be the one to tell your friends, hey, watch that Swayze Bozeman. He's probably going to make the Chiefs roster for special teams. Potentially could be more down the line. Again, along with Curtis Jacobs, those are the kind of guys to watch in the third preseason game. Not many of the starters, but a lot of those guys, because the Chiefs need to fill out their roster, and they need to figure out who can do it to the best of their ability. And those are the guys that need to show up in this game on Thursday.
Jesse, as always, thank you so much for taking some time. Appreciate it. We'll catch up soon.
All right. Sounds good, Russ. Thanks.
Once again, there's Jesse Newell, the Kansas City Star. Great stuff from him. Once again, the Chiefs are 0-2 to start the preseason, a 24-23 loss on Saturday to the Lions. I didn't even ask Jesse about the behind-the-back pass from Mahomes, but I feel like that's just old hat to those who cover the team full-time, because Mahomes does that in practice all the time. So, but nonetheless, Chiefs off to an 0-2 start, but the panic button is nowhere near being pushed because of the preseason, and I don't think it's going to even happen again on Thursday if they fall to the Bears and go 0-3. It doesn't really matter. It all begins, of course, on September 5th against the Ravens at home, when they raise the banner again for another championship there, Super Bowl championship for the Chiefs. All right, let's get to a break. When we come back, we are going to wrap things up with the leftovers and the walk-off. That's next here on a Monday edition of the Morning Blitz.
The Farmers State Bank of Oakley has been financing agriculture since the day we opened our doors. Hello, this is Corbin, and we are proud to be your locally owned partner in ag. We invite you to come and visit with us when you need to purchase new or used farm equipment, or need any type of agriculture or business loan. We have the knowledge, experience, and financial resources to keep you growing. The Farmers State Bank of Oakley, a tradition of community and agriculture for over 115 years. Member FDIC.
Summertime is here, and so are your local Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware stores, with anything and almost everything you need for these warm days. Give your place a new look with Benjamin Moore paints. Keep your lawn looking its best with mowers, blowers, and trimmers from Craftsman, Toro, and Ego. And they still have that amazing selection of outdoor grills from Traeger and Weber, plus the popular flat-top Blackstone griddles. Find it all and much more at Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware, with locations in Colby and Goodland, open every day but Sunday.
Your livelihood is important to you. You work hard to succeed in your farming operation, crop, livestock, home, vehicles, and special needs. We have you covered. Discounts are available for new business, remodeling, hail-resistive roofing, multi-policy, and many more. Optional coverage endorsements as well for machinery, ingestion, and equipment breakdown. Umbrella coverage for additional coverage on your home, farm, and auto. See the girls at the insurance agency at 1020 Main in Goodland, or call 785-899-5011.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-230-2777. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Providers help thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-230-2777. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-230-2777. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-230-2777, 800-230-2777, or biglou.com.
If you're shopping for a banking institution, visit with Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, and Quinter, Kansas. The Equity Bank is heavily invested in local business and activities contributing in many ways back to their community. Their employees are involved with many organizations and area events. Plus, a lot of experience comes with that staff. You'll find valuable local assistance when you bank at the Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, Quinter, and other locations in Western Kansas. The Equity Bank, member FDIC.
In recent months, some people looking for Midwest Energy on Google have reported sponsored ads pop up with different phone numbers, connecting them to scammers. When online, always look closely at links and phone numbers before clicking or calling. Midwest Energy's only phone number is 1-800-222-3121. Any other number, and it's likely a scam. Midwest Energy, a customer-owned cooperative, making energy work for you.
You're listening to the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
He talks about sports on the radio.
Thanks again to Jesse Newell for joining us on the program here today. Once again, you want to make sure you follow him on Twitter at Jesse Newell and read all the great articles that he puts out, and the team at the KC Star. They do a great job following the Chiefs. There's probably no one better in the business and the crew there at the KC Star, that's for sure. All right, we move along here on the Morning Blitz. We got to get to the walk-off in just a minute or so, but real quickly, a few things in the leftovers I wanted to get to. A few other quick winners of the weekend. First and foremost, wanted to go to the FNB Bank text line. We had Dennis, who was Dennis McIntyre, who was in studio with us on Friday. Of course, talk about the Sherman County Speedway. He wanted to announce his winners of the weekend, which were the Sherman County Speedway track champions from this past weekend, which include Drew Miller of the Modified, Danny Conselman of the Sport Modified, Doug Holzmeister or Holdmeister in Stock Car, Hobby Stock Mike Kennedy, and Sport Combat Ted Trumbo, the winners of the weekend for Dennis McIntyre at the Sherman County Speedway. A couple of the quick winners as well. Caitlin Clark yesterday set the rookie WNBA assist record. She, along with Angel Reese, are changing the NBA. I said it before. I'll say it again. This reminds me, even though I wasn't alive, just reading stories and watching stories about this, but this reminds me so much of Bird and Magic Lakers Celtics with Angel Reese and of course, Caitlin Clark. Just that rivalry, I think, and those two's play, because Angel Reese also is setting the rookie record for the most double-doubles at this point in time in the WNBA's history. And so those two doing what they're doing, and if they meet up, it's just going to drive the WNBA further and further up in the like rankings of fans everywhere. And also a shout-out to Boise State quarterback Maddox Madsen. I know this is completely out of left field, but he beat out USC transfer and former #1 overall recruit Malachi Nelson for the starting quarterback job at Boise State. Many people thought when Nelson transferred from USC to Boise State, he'd be the automatic shoe-in winner. Nope, it's Maddox Madsen who beats out the former #1 recruit to be the starting quarterback of the Boise State Broncos, who, by the way, could be a playoff team with this expanded playoff. They've got a really, really good team. They got an All-American type running back as well. And if they can play to their potential, they have a chance of being in the postseason, I believe, coming up here when we get to the postseason in December, I should say.
A 3-run walk-off home run, a game-winning walk-off with a walk-off.
His second walk-off hit of the season.
In walk-off fashion, that baby's go.
Walking it off, we go to the links in golf, where Hideki Matsuyama won the St. Jude's championship yesterday. He had to do it with a brand new putter, his swing coach not being there, nor his caddy. Because of the stories that happened, the caddy and his swing coach were robbed on their way to the airport to go to this tournament. They lost the putter, they lost their passports, they were unable to get to where they need to go. So Matt Matsuyama had a new putter, didn't have a coach, had a new caddy that he never worked with before. Didn't matter. He still wins the St. Jude Championship. That's pretty darn cool. Very, very cool, in my opinion. That will do it for us here today. Thanks again to Jesse Newell for hopping on the show. It was great to visit with him, of course. Also, another reminder, folks, today, first day of fall practices, fall sports practices. We can officially have that, and that's great. That's great. We made it through the dog days of summer. We are officially into the school year. Even though school hasn't started yet, we are practicing sports. School will start, at least for Goodland, I know, on Thursday. Other schools have already gotten going. I know Colby's gotten going and other ones as well. But that'll do it for us today. Thanks again to Jesse Newell. Thanks again as well to you, the listener, for tuning in no matter what we were doing. So whether it's, of course, the Hurl Chevrolet GMC video stream or the old-fashioned way through the radio, we appreciate you tuning on in. We're back again tomorrow in 23 hours. We hope to see you then. It's been the Morning Blitz.